This Indianapolis Trucks and Xfinity Series Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE, SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. And today we stay in Indianapolis. We stay in Indiana, but we go to a different part of Indianapolis for a new series, Cody, that's just starting out. It's called the Craftsman Truck Series. And, we're seeing it for the first time ever. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it is, of course, the Trucks and Xfinity Series. We have the trucks going from IRP, and then, of course, the Xfinity Series will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway like the big boys. But, Cody, we got clarity yesterday about what type of race we're about to get with the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, much protected information apparently, but the Xfinity Series will be running the Super Speedway package. So we'll talk about that when we get to the Xfinity Series part of it. But the trucks are back finally, Rod, after a long hiatus. We didn't stop talking about them. They just haven't raced. So glad to see that they're back. And they will be taken to the short track, also in Indianapolis, but it is the Lucas Oil Raceway. I think it's literally like across the street. It's very close to the big track, but it's a short track and will race completely differently than everything we talked about yesterday, and we will talk about today with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, we're very excited though for both, and really glad to see the trucks finally returning.
It's, I get that you can't really do a full schedule with trucks, right? I get it because the money and it's not all there and there's a lot, but I feel like we should get a few more truck races. Like it seems like it's a tease because we've seen it week after week, Cody, where the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series really provides us with some great racing a lot of times.
Oh, yes. A lot of times the Truck Series is some of the best, and over the years we've probably done better in Trucks and Xfinity for the most part. Again, it's been a tougher year all over the place this year. But they're great. And I wish, I don't know, I kind of wish maybe they do just spread the schedule out a little bit, like have it every other week. Sometimes we'll 3-4 weeks in a row with trucks and then we don't get them for a month. And it's like, my goodness, make it like IndyCar where it's every other week or every 2 weeks or something, or every 3 weeks or whatever, where you're getting it. But hey, it works out how it works out. And, the schedule makers obviously have all the pertinent info and is what it is. So just glad that they're back this week, Rob.
Amen to that. And so this is obviously going to be a dual episode. I know that we've gotten used to spreading our legs and getting a little comfortable just doing Xfinity and giving a ton of Xfinity bets. So, unfortunately, this is not going to be that case. We are going to give you our favorite bets from both of them as we get going, as we always do. But listen, I want to tell you real quick, though, that the Sports Gambling Podcast is back with their 32 NFL team previews. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. That's each episode. They're going to give out one of a 32-word phrase. If you submit that phrase, you get a chance to win a $1,000 Circa future. I feel like we need a phrase that pays, Cody. There's something that we need to do. Maybe not $1,000 Circa future, but
it is funny because if you listen, they had the Jets episode last night and the word was "and" because it's a 32-word phrase. So there's a lot of different words. So it's the key word for today is "and." that's it. Maybe I shouldn't have gave that away, but I guess there you go. There's a bonus for an extra word in case you haven't listened to the Jets episode yet. But Yeah, no, it's always funny because it's usually a great and funny phrase at the end of the day. So I enjoy following along.
And speaking of the chat's blowing up over here. And Ash checking in saying,
I'm glad it's blowing up for you, Rod, because I still can't see it at all. I don't know what's going on.
They've locked Cody out. The parental guidelines say Cody cannot. Ash saying,
going to rely on Rod to bring up the chat today.
If you don't get your comment on screen today, it's because of me. So you can blame me.
It's Rod's fault.
Ash checking in saying, evening, lads. So glad the trucks are back. Will the truck schedule ever have more races in the future? We just kind of covered that there, Ash. Marcus saying, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk have passed away this week. I know, Marcus. That's tough. And you just met Hulk Hogan, too, about a couple months ago.
I met him back in October. He was here in Lincoln and got my picture with him and everything. And yeah, sad to see a couple of icons gone. Of course, the actor as well, Malcolm. He passed away. The guy who played Theo Huxtable, of course, and many other things. It's been. And then you mentioned a couple of other people. It's been a rough week for kind of icons this week, I guess.
Yeah, Chuck Mangione, just celebrated trumpet player. Feels so good. That was one of the tunes as a kid that it was essential that I learned. That's why I started playing trumpet. It was him and it was Herb Alpert's Lonely Bull were the two songs that were the reason why I played trumpet. So a little sad to hear that Chuck passed away. Just saying good afternoon. And yes, guess what? Trucks, her favorite series at all. Justin saying, what up, fellas? Watching live with my daughter. Creating you guys a new fan. I know, right? Everybody watch the language.
Shout out to her, though. We love her. She's a great little girl. So
indeed.
Hi, sweetie. Enjoy the show. Don't say all the things we say.
Yeah, right. Do as we do, not as we say. Laura checking in, saying hello, ye howdy. She missed us yesterday, unfortunately. And JDK, afternoon. Holy cow, you guys. This is insane. I can't even get, how about...
They know I can't see it, Rod. God, it's driving me nuts. What's going on here?
Link and Kim Hollingworth saying, where is the next Craftsman truck race? It is here. It is this week. We are at... at
Soil Raceway, baby.
Yeah. Charles, I'm trying to get some new folks in there. Charles, what up, guys? Glad we got trucks back, but damn it, Majeski plus 250. Woo.
Yeah. He made the cover for a reason. We'll talk about it here in a few. But, I was hoping with the season he's had, they would sleep a little bit. But, winning the last 2 years in a row here, they've chosen not to sleep, Rob.
No, they will not sleep at all. All right. Is there any news E-type stuff that we need to cover that we didn't talk about yesterday? I know we covered a little bit yesterday, so that was... But I don't think there's anything else.
Talked about the Navy stuff, of course, yesterday. I don't think there's really been a ton else. So I was kind of going back through, scrolling through some stuff here. One kind of notable thing, this will be fun to keep an eye on, Spire's development driver, Tristan McKee. It's a name I've heard many times. Turns 15 next month, Rod. He's going to drive a Spire car in ARCA race at Watkins Glen and the ARCA West race at Phoenix in November. He's already got wins on the Cars Tour and Trans Am events. He's signed, obviously, a development deal with Spire. So it's going to be a name. Get to know it, Tristan McKee, because he's already, running late model races. He's already running Trans Am stuff. So road courses, ovals, all of that. It's going to be a name we're probably going to hear quite a bit going forward.
Thank God we're going to see a new driver of the 77 sooner rather than later. I cannot wait for this kid to take over the 77 seat.
Yeah,
and I love
their drivers. That's the one I think they want to replace.
It is. It's the one I want to replace. Link and Kim Hollingsworth talking about when is the next truck race? It is this week. It is at
Friday. This week.
This is it. So
yeah.
Welcome in.
There.
We're glad you're new.
Welcome in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about it here in just a moment. One other quick note too. Ty Majeski has a new spotter this week. Brandon Wilkinson, who spots for Ryan Priest, is going to take over for Brandon Lyons, who is William Byron's spotter. So that's notable, I guess, at best. But other than that, not really a ton of other news or info out there, I don't think.
All right, well, then I guess it's time we start breaking down this truck race. Link and Kim Hollingsworth. I don't know which one it is, Link or Kim. Give us a
both.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk to both. It is the T-Sport 200 from the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Say that 3 times fast. We just call it IRP for short. Set for 200 laps around this 0.686 mile paved track for 137.200 miles. Cody, this is a straightforward type of a truck race. I'm not seeing any sort of guys coming down in this race. So this is it, man. Trucks versus trucks.
You're not looking very hard then, Rod.
Wait, what am I looking at?
Well, 35 entries, so they will all make this race. Brent Cruz is going to jump in. Of course, another young name that we've talked about before. It needs to stay on your radar. He is going to be really good. Did you get to the 44 finally? Right?
I sure did. These are the different glasses, guys. So apologies. This is a bad prescription.
Sort of notable, but it's okay. So Brent Cruz in the one truck for Tricon. Corey Day is back in the number 7 for Spire Motorsports, Rod. The number 20 car is Jordan Anderson. He's coming back to make a start for another team. Of course, he owns Jordan Anderson Racing in the Xfinity Series, but and they've run trucks before, but he's going to be running for Young's Motorsports this week over there. Ross Chastain. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before, Rod. Maybe
apparently not.
It's somewhat of a notable name. He'll be in the 44 truck for Nice Motorsports. So, of course, that's the Cup name in this. And then Luke Fenhaus, notably, I know our guy Sour D out there, is excited to hear us talk about him today. But he is going to be back in the number 66 truck for Tricon, for ThorSport, rather. By the way, T-Sport, I do believe, Rod, is it's owned by ThorSport.
It is.
It's ThorSport's Racing. It's a version of them. So interesting to have the team sponsoring the race, but hey, whatever. It's worked out for them well the last 2 years with Majeski winning both of the last 2 years. So those and then one other note too is they've done a crew swap. So the pit crew has been changed out. McAnally, Hilgeman, Hemrick's crew is going to Jack Wood. Jack Wood's crew going over to Daniel Hemrick. I would assume that's a move trying to help Daniel Hemrick have a bit of a better crew.
I would hope so, because if they're trying to boost up Jack Wood and not Daniel Hemrick, I don't know. That feels like a little bit of hey, guess what, Daniel? We're off on you, bud. We're gonna go ahead and
hard to boost up that Jack Wood, Rod.
It most. Kim wanted to know when's the race going to be. It's going to be Friday night under the lights at 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check it out. It's going to be on FS1. Like all the truck races are, so make sure you catch it there. The Ross Chastain thing literally flew over my head. Thinking about so many things, I was like, oh yeah, this is a straightforward truck race, and then I realized, oh wait, I forgot. Ross Chastain is in this.
It does sort of go under the radar. We're going to talk about him in a few, but he's 12-1 in this race, so it's not like typically when you see guys coming down where you get they or go towards the top of the favorites. Like he's been successful in the Nice trucks before, but I don't know. They're really kind of treating him. They definitely see this race going a certain way, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
They most certainly do. All right, and we will tell you exactly how we see this race going. But first, allow me to tell you all about our friends over at Circa, the world's greatest sports book. Circa Las Vegas is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true DGen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with SGPN at Circa Contest Weekend, August 21st through the 23rd for an amazing weekend, including live shows and open bars. Plus, you get 15% off of a stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Contest is open to every single person. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get 50% off of your proxy fees. We have friends at Underdog, and they love to hook you up, and we love to hook you up with them as well. Underdog Best Ball Mania. It's happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best Ball is literally the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog's also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry tonight. If you're listening, Canadian football is happening. It is the Montreal Alouettes taking on the Calgary Stampeders, the surprising Calgary Stampeders. You want to talk about going from worst to first? The Stamps are back, baby, and they are playing Montreal. So, Owls are going to have to score some points, right? And Caleb Evans is that short yardage quarterback that comes in on the goal line, vultures all of your favorite running backs' touchdowns, and ends up scoring. And I think that's what he's going to do again against the Stamps. And so give me Caleb Evans, higher than a half of a rushing and receiving touchdown. Of course, that's going to come on the ground. There's no way he's receiving a touchdown. But give me that half of a rushing touchdown higher than. You got 1.22 times your entry with that pick. So underdogs kind of not thinking it's going to happen. I think it is. Sign up with our promo code in the meantime, RACE SGPN. You're going to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN. Cody has got himself back into the link. There you go. Is the chat back up now for you? You're muted there, Cody. I'm not sure what happened.
I'm back.
There you go.
Hey, the chat is fixed. I can see it now, and it's great because I was. I don't like missing out on the chat, Rod. It's always fun to watch the chat go by as we work here.
I love it. All right. Beautiful. Yeah, so I love that we're getting kind of crazy. The chat's back, and you can see what's going on in it, but I love it. All right. Well then, Cody, it is, like I said, the short track race at IRP. We haven't had a lot of short track racing in the truck series so far this season, so when you're looking at comp tracks, I mean, I know there's one in particular that I'm looking at, and especially that happened just recently, and, that was at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. But, yeah, what were you looking at when you were starting to?
Yeah, I mean, really tough. It's tough to look at much this year. I mean, North Wilkesboro, sure, it's a short track, but it's a short, flat track. Like, there is definitely some comparisons. North Wilkesboro you can look at. Really, outside of that, I mean, Rockingham and Bristol are, like, kind of stretches. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I mostly looked at this race previously. A little bit of current form thrown in there. Well, in some cases, a little bit of current form thrown in there. Maybe in some cases, not so much current form thrown in there. But yeah, just, who are the typical short track drivers? Of course. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been looking at. And I got to say, we've had some truck races this year where the odds and the options have not been wonderful. But I found a lot of stuff that I like this week. I jammed quite a few bets in here, Rod. So I said, let's get after it.
Let's get after it then.
Let's get after it. All right, I'm going to start off. This might surprise some of you. I'm going to take, this is not a joke. It's not April Fool's for the record. I'm going to take Tyrone Majeski over Corey Heim, minus 115. I know some of you might have just pulled over the side of the road. You might have cleaned out your ears. You did not hear that wrong. But I am fully leaning into the fact that Corey Heim has not been good at IRP. We have 3 career starts here, and he's gotten worse in each one. The first year, Kyle Busch Motorsports 2022, 7th, 6th in the stages, finishes 5th after starting 4th, leads no laps, pedestrian, right? I mean, compared to what Corey Heim generally does, having a record season this year, but not great, just hanging out. Then 2023, they come back in the Tricon truck, starts in 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd in the stages, leads 18 laps, but 8th place finish. Again, just not quite doing it for me. Last year, starts in 9th, 3rd, and 2nd in the stages, but finishes 17th, leads no laps. Nothing about his 3 starts here has been impressive. It's not like he led a bunch of laps and lost at the end because something happened, which how many times have we seen that so far this year, right? We've seen it plenty of times, but it's not been great for him. Ty Majeski, on the other hand, 3 career starts here. Year 1, 2022, he starts in 6th place, 8th in stage 1, 1st in stage 2, leads 71 laps, ends up in 8th. So, sometimes it doesn't always go well. But then the other 2 years, 2023, starts in 2nd place, wins stage 1, wins stage 2, 179 laps led, wins the race. Last year, starts in 4th, rough stage 1. I don't remember if it was a penalty or he spun out something, but we're like, oh, here we go again, right? Majeski goes to the back, doesn't matter, comes all the way back, 3rd in stage 2, leads 56 laps at the end of the race and wins. So 2 for 3 winning. He's been really good here the last 2 years. Ty Majeski's had a rough season, but we just talked about, we've not been to a lot of short tracks yet. Ty Majeski thrives on short tracks. He absolutely loves the short tracks. And for as rough of a season, quote unquote, as it's been, 2nd place last time out at Lime Rock. I know it's hard to remember because it was 3 months ago, but 9th place at Pocono. So, 8th at Nashville, 6th at North Wilkesboro, short track, right? So he's had some decent runs. And even at the beginning of the season, a couple of super speedways, good finishes, 4th at Las Vegas. So there's been some good mixed in. There is, of course, the reigning champion, but he is the short track guy. I was really hoping they'd sleep on the outright. Honestly, I feel, again, as crazy as this sounds, it sounds crazy to fade Corey Heim, and it's not really fading him, but he's not been great here. And I would rather bet Majeski at -115 to just beat Corey Heim, beat one guy, than to win this race, because I think there's other guys like Lane Riggs, maybe some other people up here that could beat him. And Heim, I'm not going to put anything past Heim. He can do anything, right? He's great. It's much like the Larson talk from yesterday, but he's not done it here before. That's the part that I think I'm kind of leaning to. And you go back and you look, and what has he done? He's won all these races, but he's also blown a lot of races, whether it's for one reason or another. But you look at some of the shorter tracks. North Wilkesboro, he did start first and lead 162 laps, but at the end of the day, 17th place. So he's got somewhat of a piano following him around half the time, right? And a lot of times, not even his fault. It just sort of happens. Again, that's really the only short track we've had, but smaller tracks, Rockingham, well, he finished in 8th place. Led some laps, yes, but Martinsville was a short track. He led a ton of laps, 149, but he finished 6th place there. Bristol was a 3rd place finish. So the short, quote-unquote, tracks that we've run this year, he's not won on any of them. And in general, short tracks are where he tends to not be quite as good. You go back and you look last year as well. Martinsville, 10th place in the fall, 7th place in the spring, or 7th in the, 10th in the spring, 7th in the fall is what I was trying to go for there. Richmond was 16th. IRP here, of course, was 17th. Looking down, he did win at North Wilkesboro, so I'll give him that. But otherwise, sort of a mixed bag. So I'm going to take Majeski over Heim. I think this is the best way to get in on Majeski in this race. And it seems weird to go against Heim, but I think that there's a good reason for it based on what he's done. So to build on that, I'm also going to take Chevrolet over Toyota at -140. I know this seems like, whoa, that's -140 is a bit, right? And I was actually going to play a different play that was -170, but I went with this one instead. But I'm taking Chevrolet over Toyota, and this is very much related to Corey Heim, because Corey Heim is the Toyota that carries Toyotas, right? And if you look through the field, what are the other Toyotas? Brent Cruz. We're going to talk about him in a different way later, but likely he's not going to win this race, right? Tony Breidinger, love her, but she's not super great. Heim, of course. Tanner Gray, Giovanna Ruggiero, like, they can have good runs, but they're not super consistent. They're not like top of the board guys. Stuart Friesen's the only other Toyota in the entire field. That is it when it comes to Toyotas. You go over to the Chevy group, Rod, which is who we're taking over Toyota here. You get a ton of drivers. I'm going to skip over some of these names that don't matter. Norm Benning, Corey Day, of course. Butterbean, by the way, is in the 07. Brennan Butterbean McQueen. He's in the 07 for Spire. We didn't mention that. So you get him. You get Grant Enfinger in the Chevrolet. You get Tyler Ankrum. You get Daniel Hemrick. You get Dawson Sutton. You get Ross Chastain. You get Raja Karuth, who's been good here. You get, Connor Mosack, if you're into that kind of thing. So you get a lot of drivers basically against Corey Heim. So I like Chevrolet as well in this over Toyota at -140.
Yeah, and again, it's Majeski. I feel like it's the passing of the piano from Majeski to Heim, and maybe this is where we get to the point. I mean, there's only 10 races left or 11 races left in the season. We're getting very short on races, and it's going to have to be Heim's either going to have to kick it into gear or we're going to watch him fall off, and it's just been tough,
And he'll be fine.
No, he'll be
probably
fine.
Gonna bet on him next time we're out, right? It's just at this track in particular, this place especially is the place to get in on Majeski, and one of the very few tracks where he's not been super great already. So we're going to kind of lean into that and try and build off of it. We
have been to this particular track over the last 3 seasons before that very long break or that they had before they came back here. The Trucks have been coming here for a while, but they took a pretty decent-sized break as well. And now we're back for 3 races in the current era. And in that current era, allow me to read you the top, top 4 finishers from last year. It was Ty Majeski, it was Christian Eckes, it was Grant Enfinger, and it was Tyler Ankrum. And then in 2022, it was Tyler Ankrum in 6th place. Well, those are 2 solid finishes in the era, I suppose, of the truck race here at IRP. So I don't know why we are getting Tyler Ankrum and Brendan Queen in a matchup where Brendan Queen, and they're both the same at -115. So if all things are equal, give me the Tyler Ankrum side of this. And what's crazy is that Brendan Queen hasn't made a truck start yet this season. Yeah, I get it. He's in the 07, and I get that that's like the all-star truck of it all. But, look, they're probably going off of what they saw last year at North Wilkesboro, and that was a 4th-place finish after a 26th-place start for Brendan Queen, right? But then he finished 19th at Nashville, 20th at Kansas in his last 2 in the one truck. So it's not as if he was like, he was driving bad equipment. No, he was driving the one truck, right? We know the one truck is still damn good equipment, and he should have been able to do better. Now, of course, in the ARC Menard Series, he's actually doing very well for himself. 4 wins, 8 top 5s, 8 top 10s, which is exactly why he's getting this ride right now, why he's getting the opportunity to be in this truck. But this is a short track. This is trucks on a short track. I know he's in the 07, but there's a lot of beating and banging that go on in the short track. And yeah, he did get the one into a 4th-place finish at North Wilkesboro. But if you're going to beat Tyler Ankrum, then you're going to have to come better than that, I think. And that's a 4th-place finish last year for Ankrum, like I said, and a 6th-place finish in 2022. In 2023, he had an electrical problem, finished 34th. That's out of his control. But 2 for 2 in top 10 finishes, and then a top 5 finish for Tyler Ankrum. I don't know. To me, I think we're overreacting and maybe getting all excited about this 07 truck. Let me read you the last few finishes for this 07 truck. Lime Rock finished at 15th. That was Thomas Annunziata piloting that one. Pocono, Patrick Emerly took it to a gentleman's 15th finish. Corey LaJoie finished 5th in the 07. Kyle Busch, 15th in Nashville. BJ McLeod, 15th at Charlotte. Kyle Busch took it to a 9th place finish at North Wilkesboro. And look, even that I don't think is enough to beat Tyler Ankrum on this track. William Byron, 2nd in Kansas. Nick Sanchez, 13th in Fort Worth, 16th for Rockingham, Sammy Smith. Kyle Larson obviously won at Homestead, took it at 2nd at Bristol, but that's Kyle Larson. William Byron, 14th place finish in Martinsville. Justin Haley, 11th place finish at Las Vegas. So, again, not necessarily all that great of finishes for the 07 truck, even though it is the All-Star. Now, for Tyler Ankrum, he finished 10th at Lime Rock last week, so that's a pretty good finish. But 3rd at North Wilkesboro, 4th at Texas, 1st at Rockingham, 4th at Bristol, 2nd at Martinsville. Those are some solid short track finishes for Tyler Ankrum this season. He's looking really good, and I think you're really going to have to be on him or on your game to be able to beat him this week in a head-to-head. And in his first truck start of the season, you're asking Brendan Queen to actually beat Tyler Ankrum? I don't see it.
I think you're dismissing Brendan Queen a little bit too much because he is a great young driver. He's up and coming. Short track. This is those cars late model guys. Like this is their jam. He's going to be running the ARCA race as well as Ash pointed out. But on the same point, Ankrum, I looked at this week and I figured you'd work him in some way, shape, or form because he does have really good stats here and he's been running really well this season. So I could see your case. I don't dismiss Queen too much because I think we've seen a lot of good stuff out of him. He ran really well last year, as you mentioned. He's been doing extremely well in the ARCA series this year. But I get the point for Ankrum as well because he's been really solid lately, especially as you've pointed out all season long. And betting on him has been working for you, so I'm not saying to stop that now. But he's been really good on this track in particular as well.
And I'm not even saying that I don't think Queen has a top 10 in him. And for Laura asking top 5 for Tyler, that's at plus 325. I didn't take the bite on that one. However, that is a very interesting bet. And I think at plus 325 might be something you could add to your card. But yeah, I think you have to be a top 5 truck this week to beat Tyler Ankrum in a head-to-head. And like I said, Brendan Queen probably get in the top 10. That's fine. Probably find his way back up there again and nice solid finish. But I think Tyler Ankrum will have a better one indeed. All right, let's get to some more of our bets, but I would first like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and, of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. You know I love me some crazy down there sports. How about the National Rugby League? The South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Whoa, man, the Rabbitohs, 12.5-point underdogs to the Sharks. And listen, that's pretty much how it's going to be. These guys have been getting blown out lately. So give me the Sharks to beat the Rabbitohs. I'll take the 12.5. Why not? Minus 12.5 at minus 123. That seems like a pretty decent price to me. So, yeah, find that on mybookie.ag. Go to the National Rugby League, find the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, and have yourself a good old time placing that bet. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. You have heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. It's essentially the best of the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. MLB Power Trends, they're 254 and 147 with a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5 in their past 400 bets. WNBA Power Trends, 35 and 20 since the launch, 63.64% win rate, 20.7 ROI. Go download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know that we are going to be as well. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. South Sydney Rabbitohs, Cody. What do you know about them?
All over it. What do I know about them is everything you just taught me about them 10 seconds ago. I now know that they're a team, so that's a good start. And I'll be betting on them as soon as I get off the show here over at mybookie.ag.
I hope you do. Rabbitohs, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Cody, where are we going next?
All right. Well, Truth Matters says, sorry, just can't with Majeski this year. Here's what I'm saying. But more of what have you done for me lately kind of guy. I get that. I'm a lot of a what have you done for me lately guy most of the time. So I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but I'm going to continue leaning into this going against Corey Heim. And you know, if Corey Heim beats me this week, right? He's the greatest truck driver in the series right now by far. It's not even close. I get it. I understand it. I'm just leaning into what we've seen from him with this track and what we've seen from him at short tracks in a general sense. And, you know, what have you done for me lately? Some of the luck he's had lately that's, again, not been good. Because if you go back, just to kind of reiterate on the Heim point, if you go back and you look at what have you done for me lately, you know, he won last week at Lime Rock, but 23rd at Pocono, 18th at Michigan. You know, that's 2 of the last 3 races where he's not finished good. So, just, you know, tossing it out there. But the bet that I like the absolute most this weekend, Rod, is this one right here. Over on Caesars, you can get the winning truck to be an even numbered truck at minus 120. I would like to go through the list of outrights at the top of the board and read this to you. Ty Majeski, the favorite. You don't have to bet on just Ty Majeski, but he'll be included here as the best guy on short tracks who's won the last 2 years in a row here. He drives a 98 truck, Rod, so that's an even-numbered truck. Corey Heim is the odd-numbered truck in here. That's why the number's at minus 120 for evens. But after that, Lane Riggs, even. Chandler Smith, even. Ross Chastain, even. You got a couple of odds in there with Hemrick and Enfinger, okay. But back to Tyler Ankrum. What number is he? He's 18, right? Even. Then, you know, it kind of goes off. But you're getting Ty Majeski, who's been dominant at this track. You're getting Lane Riggs, who I'd put up there as the next best short track guy, honestly. You're getting Chandler Smith. Not been super great here, but he could pop up. He's done some short track stuff. You're getting the Cup guy in the field and Ross Chastain in a good truck. On top of, you know, there's some other guys farther down the field, you know, that you get later on in there. But to me, heavily loaded at the top of the field is all even trucks, except for Corey Heim. So that's what we're going against. Give me the winning truck to be even at minus 120. This is my favorite bet out of all the Truck Series bets this week. So if you're placing one, this is the one I would be taking. And then, Rod, Luke Fenhouse. We're going to talk about him, as has been demanded by the folks over in the Discord. But I'm going to take Luke Fenhouse to win Group C over on Bet365. You can get him at plus 425, and that is against Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, Jake Garcia. So essentially, this is the Thor Sport group minus Ty Majeski. So it's the other 4 Thor Sport trucks all grouped up here together. Fenhouse is the longest shot at plus 425. He just runs a limited schedule, but he did run in this race last year, Rod, where he finished a nice, strong 7th place, which was better than all of those other guys because you got to go all the way down. I mean, Ben Rhodes was 21st. Matt Crafton was 24th. And Jake Garcia was probably in this race somewhere. Where was Jake Garcia? Was he in this race, Ron? Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I don't even see. Oh, yeah. I didn't scroll far enough. Sorry. 30th for Jake Garcia. So he already did this last year. His starts this year, it's been a mixed bag, right? Mostly not great. But last time out in Michigan, 3rd place. So if you're looking at what have you done for me lately, which how much does momentum carry from, 3 months ago when they last raced? But he was strong in that one. He's been strong. He's a short track guy, another guy that again, targeting on the short tracks. Rhodes is the Joey Logano of the Truck Series. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. More bad than good. Sometimes he'll pop up and chalk you, fine, whatever. Crafton, Rod's ready to retire all these old guys. He might start putting that on Matt Crafton. This has not been great. And Jake Garcia, I was the biggest Jake Garcia stand 2 years ago, Rod. It's not really worked out well. He's just not been great. So give me Luke Fenhouse to beat those 3 guys at plus 425 in Group C over on the Bet365.
I mean, Fenhouse could still probably finish 20th, and if something goes wrong for all these guys like it has been lately, then he's still be able to beat them all.
Yeah. An honorable mention, his top 5 is 14-1. I know the guys in the Discord were talking about that. I didn't officially add it on here, but 7th last year, so pretty easy to make a strong case for why he could do that if that's your kind of thing, Ron.
It is not, unfortunately, but I will say that what is my thing is Grant Enfinger top 5. We were talking a little bit about Tyler Ankram's top 5 number, which is very, very tempting. However, Grant Enfinger plus 250 on Hard Rock. He's down somewhere in the plus 130s, I think, in some books, and all of a sudden I was looking around, I was like, oh man, that's not really that good. Not really good. And then Hard Rock was like, bam, plus 250, and I was like, hell yeah. Grant Enfinger on this track in the 3 races that they've had since he's pretty much been racing on it, he won in 2022. That's in the top 5. Had a 12th place finish in 2023. Unfortunately, that was bad in the 23 truck. But last year in this 9 truck, 2nd place start, 3rd place finish. He led 71 laps that day. He led 13 laps in that 2022 race. So a 3rd place finish. He is 2 for 3 finishing inside of the top 5 and finishing in the top 3, let's say. But I'm kind of giving Ross Chastain a little bit of love here. I'm giving, obviously, Corey Heim, if he sneaks in and does this. I'm giving Ty Majeski. I'm giving myself a couple extra spots, especially at plus 250, to be able to say, okay, Grant Enfinger, I can see you. If you're in a top 3 truck, that's fine. I feel like you're going to be in a top 5 truck because he could go out and do something like he did at North Wilkesboro, where he finished in 5th place for you as well, cashing that one. Rockingham, he got you a 5th place finish. Martinsville and Bristol, not good. 29th and 12th, but he had a problem at Martinsville and got wrecked out of that one. And then Bristol, like a 12th place finish and 24th place start. But this track, Grant Enfinger, really damn good at. And like I said, 2 for 3 in finishing inside of the top 3. But all I want out of him now is a top 5, and for Grant Enfinger, he could do it. He's that kind of a truck driver that we know that we can never count out. Average finish of 10th this season, 10.3. 10 top 10 finishes in 15 starts, 5 top 5 finishes, only those 2 DNFs. So, yeah, Grant Enfinger is looking really good lately, and I think he's going to look good again in this race.
Yeah, Enfinger, another guy, great on short tracks, really great everywhere for the most part, but I have no arguments against that. All right, Rod, headed over to the outrights. Again, Majeski's tempting there. I'm just taking the Majeski over Heim. I think instead of the plus 2, what is he, plus 200, plus 250 in some spots maybe. I'm just going to take the minus 115. He just has to be one guy If Heim has a problem, Majeski could have a problem. Like, I don't know. I feel better about taking him in that area. So over here, all the way up at plus 450, I'm going to take Lane Riggs. Over on ESPN, you can get this number. I love Lane Riggs. He's been great this season. He's been really good at this track as well. He's made 3 starts here, Rod. He's done a Toyota, a Chevy, and a Ford. He's covered everything. First career start in the Truck Series was here in 2022. 7th place finish. Comes back in 23 in the Spire 7 truck. Finishes in 3rd. Last year, a solid 5th place finish with his first season for Front Row. So 3 strong starts. And then, of course, this season, he's just been on fire. He won a couple of weeks ago at Pocono, 3rd at Nashville, 4th at Charlotte, 2nd at North Wilkesboro, short track, right? 6th at Bristol earlier this year, 2nd at Miami, 5th at Las Vegas. It's been a very strong season for Lane Riggs. There's been points of this season where he's the only guy that can really hang with Corey Heim for the most part. And you know, I'll use that loosely because nobody really hangs with Corey Heim. But Riggs has been the guy that has been able to, and he is a short track guy. That's where he cut his teeth. He's been good at it. So give me Lane Riggs plus 450 over on ESPN. Then I'm going to take Ross Chastain at 12-1, Rod. Just don't overthink this. It's Ross Chastain, the only Cup guy in the field, coming down, going to have a good time, right? 3 starts in the Truck Series this year, 26th at Michigan, 6th at Miami. He did finish 2nd place at Charlotte, so we'll give him some credit there. Those were all big tracks, right? All 1.5 miles or bigger. So, you know, hard to exactly judge. He was 11th here last year, 15th at North Wilkesboro. So the short tracks, just not super great. But he did win at Darlington in the Truck Series. I think that it's the fact that you're getting the only Cup guy in the field. Ross Chastain is Ross Chastain still, right? We know who he is. We know what he's capable of. And these races, these truck races, we've seen some crazy shit, right? Majeski could go out and dominate this thing. Heim could go out and dominate this thing. Then you get 6 overtimes and a bunch of wrecks, and the crafty veteran Ross Chastain sneaks his way through, right? That's why I'm going to take him at 12-1. And then just in case it gets real crazy, Rod, my guy Brent Cruz at 100-1. That's right. We're going to take a small sprinkle. 2 career starts in the Truck Series. 22nd in North Wilkesboro, but that doesn't reflect how he was running. He ran really well during that race. Got spun out, I believe, at one point, or had a penalty, one of the two, and ended up with a 22nd place finish. But recovered last time out at Lime Rock with a nice 8th place finish. Brent Cruz is a guy in this Toyota pipeline that he's one of these, you know, Toyota development guys that we're going to be hearing from a lot. We're going to be seeing for a while. Does he just go out and win this race? Well, he's 100-1. Probably not. But does he hang around in the top 5 all day? It's late. Chastain and Majeski are banging truck doors, and they get together and take Lane Riggs out with them, and Cruz sneaks underneath and gets his first career win in his 3rd start at 100-1. It's enough of a story that I could paint to happen that I'll take the bet. So Riggs at plus 450, Ross at 12-1, and Mr. Cruz 100-1.
Love them all. And really, because again, you could go out and just say, bet Corey Heim, and then close the book and say you're good. But you got to take a chance, because we've seen, like you said, so many times before this season where something's happened and one of these guys is going to get the win. So and I do love it.
Like Corey Heim outright is in consideration every single week, right? It's hard to bet him every week but this week I didn't even consider. I'm not interested in Corey Heim's outright at all this week. I think that this is just not the place to bet him outright, and I think this is our opportunity, and you're not going to get many of these. This is basically probably the one opportunity we have this year to take a little bit of advantage of, hoping he continues to show up as he has 3 times in a row and just not be – he'll be fine, right? He's going to run good. He's just going to be, boy, Corey Heim's been quiet today is what they're going to say. That's what we're hoping for.
Amen to that. All right, Ty Majeski has won this race in back-to-back seasons, 2024 and 2023. But there's been one truck that has been behind him in both of those races, and that is the 19 truck. Obviously, Christian Eckes was the pilot of that truck the last 2 seasons, and that was, of course, 2024, 2023. Both of them second-place finishes for Christian Eckes. Well, in that truck this year is one Daniel Hemrick. Daniel Hemrick already has a short track win this season in Martinsville, and he's also got himself a second place at Texas. He got a 3rd place at Rockingham. He took the pole in Bristol, unfortunately ended up finishing in 13th. And that one, North Wilkesboro, a good solid 4th place finish. Very good short track racer is Daniel Hemrick. So tell me why he is 25-1 on FanDuel. Tell me why that he is 25-1 on FanDuel. I don't understand why, but we're going to swoop in on this one. Daniel Hemrick, 25-1 on FanDuel to win this race. I just told you he won Martinsville. I just told you that he finished fourth in North Wilkesboro earlier again. Ninth at the Lime Rock race the other day. He's got his average finish 8.5 so far this season. He's got 11 top 10s, 7 top 5s, and 15 starts in that one win. There's no way that he should be 25-1 given, I get it. I know Ty Majeski's won this race back-to-back. I know Ross Chastain is in this. I know Corey Heim is a threat every single week. I know Grant Enfinger is a good top 5 finisher, but Daniel Hemrick in and of his own right is just climbing it up and doing great things in the Truck Series right now. And I don't know why he's being disrespected like this. So you have to jump on this because I feel like if anybody's going to be able to go out and beat these guys, it's going to be a guy like Daniel Hemrick just out of nowhere, right? People are going to be like, whoa, Daniel Hemrick. No.
That's what he did at Martinsville. Heim
Exactly.
dominated that race, had the late, I don't remember if a tire went down or if somebody got into him and blew the tire or whatever, but Hemrick just was right there hanging around. That's what you're looking for, even at 12-1 with guys like Chastain, guys like Hemrick. Hemrick has been very solid all year. We know that truck has got a lot of speed. Oh, I forgot the biggest piece of news, Rod. They announced that Christian Eckes is going to come run some races for MHR again this season later on, so I'm very excited about that as well. But, yeah, I have no arguments to this play. And if you needed one more piece of information, you're not quite convinced on the Corey Heim thing, Rod. Looking at drivers who have a better average finish than Corey Heim at IRP, William Sawalich. I rest my case.
That's all you needed, right?
If you needed to be convinced. And that is by the way, Sawalich 2 starts to Heim's 3, but he's got a better average finish than Corey Heim at IRP. So, that's, I think if you needed any more of the argument to know why we're going a little bit against him this week, that's all you really need.
Pretty sure no one else needed that much of a convincing, but there you go. All right, that'll do it for the truck race. Listen, I apologize. I did not see the graphic in the doc. I didn't scroll down enough, so we have no graphic yet. I know Cody worked pretty hard on that one. We'll put it in the Discord. How's that? Maybe, possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, because my half of the graphics already made.
For once, Cody. For once, I'm the one that's.
I was on top of the shit. I got it all ready for you, Rod.
Not me. My bad. Sorry.
Well, it's a good reason to join the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Rod will share them over there.
Okay, I will do that. So let's go over our bets for this T-Sport 200. Cody started you off with Ty Majeski over Corey Heim at -115. Added Chevy over Toyota at -140. I said Tyler Ankrum would finish better than Brendan Queen at -115. Cody gave you the winning truck to be even at -120. And then Luke Fenhouse, the winner of Group C, on Bet365 at +425 over Rhodes, Crafton, and Garcia. I said the Finger would get a top 5 finish here at +250. Cody said Lane Riggs at +450, Ross Chastain at 12-1, and Brent Cruz at 100-1 to win the race. And I said Daniel Hemrick at 25-1 was mispriced over there on FanDuel. So go grab that to win the race. All right, Cody. Well, then it's time to turn our attention over to the Xfinity race, the Pennzoil 250 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana, set for 100 laps around this 2.500-mile paved track for 250 miles. This will be an interesting one because, like we said on the outset, they are using the Super Speedway package again around this giant 2.5-mile track, and this isn't your average super speedway 2.5 miles. This is the IndyCar ovalist of ovals, 250. So this is going to be, again, another interesting race.
Yeah, it will. And Ash, unfortunately, I think the books have stopped doing top 10s for Xfinity. I was thinking it would come back after the road races, but I don't see them coming back unless it's a super speedway. I don't think they'll do it at a super speedway either. So I think that we beat them, Rod. I think that we reached the final level of the game and sunk them because they were getting their asses kicked on it, and that's what we're here to do, I guess. So it sucks that we're not getting that option anymore. The books are being a little bit weak there, but it is what it is. So unfortunately, RIP to the Xfinity top 10s. I don't think that they're going to be coming back. But to your point, yes, they are doing the drafting track package here, the Super Speedway package. This was a great race last year. So you don't bet on this like it's Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega, because it's not going to be the big pack racing, the big wrecks like a traditional drafting track, right? It's going to race differently. It's still going to be the guys who are faster a mile and a half should be faster, but there's also the element of you will use the draft, but we'll see breakaways, right? I think we saw a 3-car breakaway last year. It was Almirola, Custer, Herbst battling back and forth and exchanging blows to at the end of the race there. And so I guess, keep the super speedway part of it into factor. There's one guy in particular I'm going to bring up today where I think that having the drafting element makes his car just fast enough to be able to compete with everybody else, which is what you're looking for, right? So it's not, don't go to the bottom of the board and think, well, these guys can run top 10 or top 5 because it's a drafting track, but middle of the board guys can run with the top dogs because it's the drafting element will boost them up just enough to keep them in line with those guys, I guess is how I'm looking at it and how I feel we saw it shake out last year.
Yeah, again, this is not, if we say speedway, super speedway, we really just mean that it is the drafting, like you said, package, and this isn't Daytona. Yeah. This isn't Talladega. We don't have the big sweeping turns. It's
going to be the old school draft that we saw back in the day where you could tandem draft and you'll see small car breakaways, little packs. It's not just one big pack all within inches, but the drafting is still a huge element. You're not going to see one guy just run away on speed. They're going to have drafting partners, I guess, is kind of the way to look at it. So it's a really a unique hybrid. It's kind of all to its own because they ran this package at Michigan last year, but even that with the big banking and stuff, it does race more like an Atlanta type of race, right? But this one is definitely different. So, all right, Rod, I'm going to kick it off with Sanchez over Sammy Smith. You get this one -110 over on ESPN. Sanchez not in this race last year. Of course, he was in the Truck Series, so he did not run in this one. Sammy Smith, 18th place, not finished right behind Joe Graff Jr. So that doesn't really spark a lot of confidence in you. But the thing with Sammy Smith is looking back, he's had a solid season, especially at the shorter tracks. But when it comes to the bigger tracks, the intermediate stuff, it's not been as good. 24th at Dover last week, not overly impressive. Bristol, short track, great run there, though. So that's good, right? And shift your mindset. We just talked about short tracks at the Truck Series. Not a short track anymore, right? This is a huge track, 2.5 miles, the drafting element. So you got to go back into that. Pocono was 8th, so that's a decent run, but 38th at Charlotte, 18th at Texas. Not good runs at any of those. Las Vegas, 14th. That's not great either. That's kind of looking through what he's done this year on the bigger tracks. So a majority of not super great races. Nick Sanchez, on the other hand, 37th at Dover last week. It was rough, right? He started second, but had a rough day getting caught up in the wreck. He won Atlanta, so the most recent drafting track. Now, again, this isn't going to race like that, but you're putting a Borchetta race. What is this team called? I can't think of it, but Scott Borchetta owns the car. Anyways, but you're putting that up against a JRM car, right? So this is that little extra bit that he needs to catch up as a drafting element. So he's obviously good at that, winning in Atlanta. But then if you go back, 3rd place at Charlotte, 20th place at Texas, you could ask for a little bit more there. 20th at Las Vegas. So kind of similar, at least close enough, but finishes like 3rd at Charlotte. You love to see the drafting element of things. 5th place at Atlanta earlier this season, and then winning at Atlanta, of course, a couple of weeks ago. So some decent enough runs in there for Nick Sanchez. He's got that win under his belt, that confidence now. And it's more of Sammy Smith doesn't really do it for me on these bigger tracks. We've seen him have some success, road courses lately. We've seen him have some success on the shorter stuff, but he's not been getting it done on the bigger tracks. So give me Nick Sanchez over Sammy Smith. And then, Rod, give me Eric Almirola to be the top finishing Toyota. It's a bit of a chalky week, but I'm biting the chalk. I'm rolling with it. -135 for this bet. Again, typically bigger or more juice numbers than we like to take in a general sense, but I'm feeling good in some of these juice numbers this week and rolling off the momentum we had from last week. I'm going to take it. You look at the Toyotas in this field, there's only 5, so he only has to beat 4 drivers. That's it. Brandon Jones is his biggest competition for sure, but Brandon Jones, flip a coin, right? Which Brandon Jones do you get? Taylor Gray, I think, could be in the mix. Outside of that, it's William Sawalich and Dean Thompson, which, a case can be made for Thompson, sure, but Eric Almirola, clearly the best Toyota in this group, in my opinion. As I mentioned, he was one of those guys in that 3-car breakaway last year, battling for the lead, swapping it back and forth at the end. Third place finish for him, right behind Herbst and Custer. The teammates got the best of him, but he looked great at that race. And he's been really strong so far this season. He's come off a second place run at Dover last week when he was just in the car, right? 7th at Atlanta, drafting track, good run. 6th place at Nashville, had a tough day at Talladega, fine. It's pack racing, got caught up in a wreck, right? Martinsville, you could ask a little bit more, 13th, but 2nd at Vegas, big track. 1st at Phoenix, 3rd at Atlanta, another drafting track. So it's been a strong year when we've seen Eric Almirola in this Joe Gibbs racing car, and it's still going to be one of the best cars out there. You go back and you look at last year, finishes a 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 2nd. I mean, he just had great runs, and he won at Kansas, so bigger track, right? Great run there. So yeah, I love some Eric Almirola, Rod. I even wore the Eric Almirola t-shirt today. I broke it out just for this episode. So you're welcome for that. But yeah, give me Eric Almirola top Toyota minus 135. Just has to beat 4 other guys, and none of them scare me that much. I think that this is another bet that you just kind of ride the chalk and take the guy who's clearly the best. He's a veteran race car driver. He's in a fast car. He's going to be good, barring any type of problem, right? If he wrecks, if he has a pit road deal, fine, shit happens. I'll eat the loss on it. Otherwise, he should clearly be the best Toyota, in my opinion. Yeah,
and probably one of the guys that you could be in contention for a win as well at the end of the day. And none of us have him as the outright. So, but not for lack of faith that he could do it. Just we found better options out there on the board as well to take as an outright. So I'm with you on the Almirola. I'm with you on the Sanchez over Sammy Smith because, like you said, I mean these Toyotas and all this and with Almirola and all that. Yeah, I feel like Taylor Gray. And not that his Cinderella story is up, but I think that Taylor Gray minus 120 against Carson Kvapil. I'm going to take Kvapil side of this at minus 120 over Taylor Gray if I buried the lead good enough. But yeah, Carson Kvapil over Taylor Gray minus 120. I understand. And Taylor Gray's been on a tear lately, right? 7th place finish at Dover, 7th place at Sonoma. Bad day at Chicago, but I think everybody had a bad day at Chicago except for the people that won. Atlanta, 5th place, Pocono, 9th, Mexico City, 2nd. Some great finishes, right? But when you look at some of these drafting tracks, an 11th place at Talladega, that's okay. That's pretty good. But you would want a little more. 38th place at Atlanta, 5th place at Daytona. It's just been an up and down roller coaster for him. It's been the same for Kvapil too, right? 15th at Dover, 8th at Sonoma, 16th at Chicago. But where I'm taking it is that he did just at the recent drafting track that we were at, started 24th and finished 2nd, did Carson Kvapil. That to me, again, these JRM cars are always so good at these drafting checks. They're always there. And we know his teammate, Connor Zilisch, and I'll talk about him in a second too, is going to be good because he's good week after week after week. Justin Allgaier, another one of those guys. I know Cody's going to talk about him a little later. Always good at these drafting tracks, right? He's got solid teammates around him, and he doesn't really screw that up too much. Right? I mean, Daytona, he finished in 4th place, 1 spot above Taylor Gray. This is going to be a neck-and-neck type of a situation. This isn't going to be where, one's going to beat him by 600 slots. It's as close as a 2nd place finish in Atlanta for Kvapil and a 5th place finish for Taylor Gray. Like, these guys are going to be around each other. It's going to be a very, very tough sweat. But, Carson's done this a couple of times already this season, and he's beaten Taylor Gray head-to-head on these drafting-type tracks. So, neither one of them have any experience on this particular track because they're both rookies. And you can't even really look at last year's performance because Sam Mayer in this one car crashed out early in the race. And then, of course, there was no 54 car in this race last year because the 54 car came in as an entry this year. So you can't really look at the performance, but this is JGR and Junior Motorsports, and these guys are head-to-head so many times throughout the two biggest and most powerful teams in the sport right now in the Xfinity Series. And so, in a head-to-head, I'm going to take Kvapil because his team has been really on fire lately, and they've got a lot. They got a lot of hardware growing up there in their building. So I'm going to take Kvapil over Taylor Gray at minus 120.
Yeah, I don't mind this. I actually circled this head-to-head, and I was like, I like Gray in this, and went in to research it because Kvapil, the results have been mixed up a little bit sometimes, right? Doesn't always get to the end. But as I look through Taylor Gray, and this is another reason why the Toyota thing stood out to me, but he's not been good on the big tracks, right? A second place finish at Texas, but other than that, it's been pretty rough for him. Pocono was 9th, okay, fine, but Charlotte was 30th. Las Vegas was 19th, so not a bunch of great runs on the bigger tracks. Charlotte 30th, I don't know if I mentioned that, but so I don't mind taking the quadruple side of this. And if he can just get to the end, which that's sort of been the problem with him a little bit, but I don't mind it at all. I'm going to go back to the well with the Austin Hill top 5 plus 200. Going to ride this one yet again. Rod, 20 races this season, 9 times Austin Hill's finished in the top 5. 12 times he's finished inside of the top 7. We're adding a drafting element, and you're getting the best drafter in the field, hands down, bar none, not even close to a question, at 2-1 just to finish in the top 5. That's super interesting to me. They're not taking into account, and this isn't going to run like a traditional super speedway track. I get that. The drafting element and how fucking outstanding he is in the draft, and you're not even taking it into account. He's 2-1 like he is any other week. That surprises me. And we came here last year in this thing, and he's finished 6th, right? So one spot outside of the top 5. But if you look at the people who finished ahead of him, Rod, Riley Herbst, not in this race. Cole Custer, not in this race. Almirola is. SVG, 4th place. Shout out to him. Not in this race. And Sheldon Creed was the other one. So, 3 of those 5 guys that finished in front of him, not even in this race this year anyways. But been strong this year. Struggled at Atlanta. The one time I finally decided to pull the trigger on him at a big track. It's fine. I'll forgive him. 7th at Charlotte, 4th at Texas, 4th at Las Vegas. Some good runs on some of these bigger tracks. Don't overthink it. You're adding the drafting element. Give me Austin Hill top 5 at 2-1. And then my guy Ryan Sieg plus 750, Rod. What are we doing? Boy, I just don't quite know. Didn't have the greatest run here last year. 11th though. It's not like it was horrible. So he's not that far at plus 750 to finish 11th last year. That's not that bad. But you go back and you look, he's again been strong on the bigger, faster tracks. Dover last week was a nice 6th place run for him. You like to see that. Struggled in Atlanta, yeah, but bad day there. It happens. Pocono, he ran 5th place. Charlotte was 14th. It could be a little bit better, but Texas was 8th. Las Vegas was 7th to open up the season. So had some good, strong runs. He's been fast on the intermediates this year, just like he was last year. Yeah, the drafting element, another guy who's very good at drafting, sometimes just gets caught up in the shit. There's going to be less shit to get caught up in. Still going to be some shit to get caught up in. It happens, right? But less shit to get caught up in, which is always nice. So give me Ryan Sieg top 5 at 5-1.
The Hill one is almost a no-brainer, and I can't believe it's 2-1 for a top. Usually at these drafting tracks, it's Austin Hill minus 200 for a top 5, and so yeah, the fact that you're getting him at plus, just doubling up your money, that's a beautiful thing. I love it. So, speaking of love, absolutely love me some love this week. Tell me if you've heard this one before, but Jesse Love, his top 5. Okay. Jesse Love's top 5 number is at 2-1. A lot like his teammate Hill, right? I mean, I don't know why you're giving me almost you are giving me 2-1 for Jesse Love as a top 5 car on a drafting track. I almost could just stop right there and say that is it. Drafting tracks this year, he won at Daytona. He had a bad day in Atlanta, finishing 16th, but he was on the pole in that particular race. So obviously there is speed in that 2 car, especially on these drafting tracks. A 3rd place finish at Talladega after starting where? Oh yeah, the pole. Jesse Love's 2 car is just synonymous with good finishes at drafting style tracks. Atlanta starts in 5th, ends up in 6th, leads 3 laps in there. I mean, it's Jesse Love's world right now, right? 5th place finish at Dover last week. Just a great stretch of runs for Jesse Love, and a top 5 at 2-1 is all we're asking him to do in this instance. Last season, he finished 13th on this particular track, and he started 15th. But here's the thing, right? I mean, yeah, last year was kind of a crazy year for him as well because he was doing very well for himself on these drafting tracks. Started on the pole in both Daytona and Atlanta. Start off his rookie season, right? Didn't get good finishes there, 20th and 12th, but started to rebound there a little bit, did Jesse Love. Daytona had a 5th place start, ended up in 21st, unfortunately, but Atlanta started on the pole and finished in 6th place. So, Jesse Love, like we said, like his teammate, you put that drafting element into it, and all of a sudden, this team just ignites. And so you're getting him at 2-1, just like his teammate. I absolutely adore this number. And then, look, the top three, if you really want to get squirrely, plus 450 over on Caesars. That's a really pretty solid number. And, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, right? He won Daytona. He knows how to get to the front of the pack. He knows how to be the guy up front. So a win gets you a top three. I'm not going to say win, but I will say I'm pretty comfortable with that top five at 2-1. And if you want to speculate on a top three at plus 450, I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah, no arguments. Again, the drafting element, he has been, the 1B to his teammate Austin Hill's 1A. He's been great as well. Rod, we did forget to talk about the entry list, by the way. There is 38 entries for this race, so they will all make it. Garrett Smithley's in the 14 car. Eric Almirola, of course, we've talked about him. He's in the 19. Catherine Legg, our girl's back in the 32 car for Jordan Anderson. Some guy named Kyle Larson is going to be in the 17 car. So, we haven't talked about him yet. He's obviously massive favorite in this, but this is probably the best time to bring him up. So yeah, he is in this race. So keep that in mind as we transition into the outright bets here. But if you want to know how we feel about Kyle Larson, it's different on both sides. But you can go back and listen to yesterday's show. If there's a place for him to get his head right, this is probably it, right? And I was trying to pull up what he is. So he's plus 130. So, the typical, you see it and it tends to be, he drives everybody else's numbers down. That's what I'm going to take advantage of here today. Kyle Larson, great driver. Could he go out and win this race? Yes. Am I going to bet him in his current state of form at plus 130? No, I guess that's the basic summary for you. Rod, I am going to bet Justin Allgaier 7-1 over on ESPN. I absolutely love this. Now, he started the season just off the handle, like things were going great. It's been rough lately, but asterisk, look at the tracks we've been to, right? He recovered last week, 4th at Dover, fine. 6th at Sonoma was a good run. Chicago, Atlanta, Coda, throw those out. Mexico City, throw them out. Outside of that, he's been really good at these bigger tracks. 10th at Pocono, you maybe could ask for more there, but he won at Nashville. 4th at Charlotte, he led 103 laps, just lost it at the very end there. Texas led 99 laps, should have probably won that race, got in the way of lap car got in the way. He ended up wrecking stupidly. That was unfortunate, but he wins at Miami, 1.5 miles. He leads 56 laps at Darlington, 1.5 miles. He dominates 102 laps led at Las Vegas, wins the race. He has been on his game this year, especially on the intermediates, the bigger tracks. We returned to one of those this week after a combination of drafting tracks and road courses and street circuits and all kinds of crazy stuff. Just a mono racetrack, right? Decent drafting track driver as well. He's going to be in a fast car. Too good to pass up at 7-1. So give me Justin Allgaier. I actually put his name in this stock before I even sent it to you because I wanted to make sure that I could claim it for myself. Austin Hill's 14-1, Rod. Rewind a little bit. Listen to what I just said about him being a great drafting track driver. Again, 14-1. I think they're not. This is, I don't think you should overcompensate on the numbers for drafting track because it's not going to race completely like that. But having the drafting element in here, he shouldn't be 14-1. And then Ryan Sieg is 50-1. Sign me up.
It's that blanket Ryan Sieg. If we did a car lift, we would do a car lift for Sieg. But absolutely, sure. Yeah. All right, listen. We saw earlier in the season where Christopher Bell won 3 races in a row. Could the same be the case for the Xfinity Series? Connor Zilisch, 7-1 on FanDuel. There's numbers out there that are much, much shorter than 7-1, but I was scrolling through and a lot like, looking at Kyle Larson, I was like, yeah, Kyle Larson, I do believe that he is going to do well in the Cup Series race rather, but the Xfinity Series is just a different animal. And you got guys like Connor Zilisch that are just going after it right now, and they are on a hot streak. You got guys like Justin Allgaier, you got Austin Hill. I mean, yeah, okay, in the Cup Series, you got much bigger names. But by the same token, in the Cup Series, that's your ride. That's the one you're in all the time. This 17 car is not going to be his ride. Connor Zilisch, that 88 car is his ride. We've seen how good Connor Zilisch has been over the last few weeks of the season, right? Second at Charlotte, second in Nashville, fifth at Mexico City, one at Pocono, fourth in Atlanta, second at Chicago, first at Sonoma, first at Dover. I mean, it started out kind of rough for him at 27th at Daytona. He crashed out of both Daytona and Atlanta, came back and won at Coda. And then, from there, it was just sort of a hodgepodge of craziness. It crashed out of Talladega. We thought, well, okay, maybe super speedways and ovals aren't really his thing. Well, now it doesn't matter. He's been on a tear since Charlotte of solid top 5 finishes for Connor Zilisch. In fact, he hasn't finished outside of the top 5 since that crash at Talladega. He's riding a hot hand right now. If you were to tell me, Kyle Larson plus 130, I get it. Absolutely 100% should be 130, right? Shouldn't be any higher than that, because if he wins, then you're gonna regret it, right? But no, Connor Zilisch should not be 7-1 to win his 3rd consecutive race. Is it a long shot to win 3 in a row? Yeah. But is Connor Zilisch good enough to be able to do it? Yeah. So I'm going to take advantage of this. Connor Zilisch 7-1 on FanDuel.
Yeah, don't put anything past this kid right now. If it wasn't for Allgaier being at the same number, Zilisch would absolutely make my card. Back to the Larson thing, he should win this race, right? And that's what's expected, and that's why he's the heavy favorite. It's just from a betting perspective, it doesn't make sense to me to bet it. Too many things that can go wrong. We've seen it a number of times, especially the way he's been running lately. He's won 2 of the 3 races. He's been in an Xfinity this year, which means he didn't win the other one, by the way. In a place like Texas, he only led 32 laps. It's not like he dominated the day. He did dominate Bristol, and he was dominant at Miami, but he didn't even win that race. So, that was a race loaded with Cup guys, and Brandon Jones goes out and wins. So we've seen it's not like, a few years back, Kyle Busch would come down and run his 10 races in trucks and Xfinity, and he would win all 10 of them year after year, or 9 of the 10 because they kept giving him fake speeding penalties to try and juice it up a little bit and make some excitement. But it's not that anymore. These Xfinity guys hold their own with these Cup guys, and at 7-1 for Zilisch, 7-1 for Allgaier. If Larson beats us, Larson beats us. Again, that's kind of the theme of the week, I guess, for me, is if these favorites beat us, these favorites beat us between Larson and Heim. But the numbers are too good on these other guys for as great the seasons as they've had, for the way that they've beat other Cup guys so far this year, and the way that Larson's been running lately in a general sense. I think that it's just not worth taking him, and it's worth betting on these other guys.
I think it's because these younger guys are used to racing against I mean, I know that back in the day they would still dip down and everything, but like I feel like the level of talent between the Cup Series and the Busch, like Winston and Cup was much big. That gap is narrowed now.
Yeah, and because back in the days, it was before they had the 5-race limit, right? And so Mark Martin would run every single Busch Series race and go win the championship. So the top 10, 15 guys in Xfinity, or Busch at the time, were all Cup guys anyway. So there wasn't any true Xfinity / Busch guys because the good teams had the good drivers, right? But now you've got the limits and the restrictions, and that's what's built up this great crop of drivers. And we have a lot of young talent that's started racing, and again, back in that day, guys didn't start racing at young ages like they do now at 4. Guys didn't start racing until they were 20 and then became Cup guys at 30. And now we're putting, a guy that's going to turn 15 next week and 2 ARCA races coming up. So it's a much different time, but yeah, that series is the most competitive, and especially at the top that it's been, especially compared to the old Busch Series days, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, get out your pen and paper. It's time to go over our bets for this Pennzoil 250 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cody started you off with Nick Sanchez over Sammy Smith at -110, and then took Almirola as a top Toyota at -135. I said Carson Kvapil would get the better of Taylor Gray this week at -120. Cody gave you Austin Hill as a top 5 car at 2-1, and Ryan Sieg as a top 5 car at 7.5-1. I said Jesse Love at 2-1 would be a top 5 car, and then if you want to take his top 3 number plus 450, I guess it's officially on the card if it's on the dock. So Cody gave you Justin Allgaier at 7-1, Austin Hill at 14-1, and Ryan Sieg at 50-1 to win the race. I said Connor Zilisch was going to go for the three-peat, 7-1 over on FanDuel. Ash, Cody,
I You've said that a couple times, and I haven't had a chance to actually talk to you. So since you're here, Ash, thanks. I don't see the DM over there, but I do have your email address from the contest. So be on the lookout. I will shoot you an email so we can get you figured out in the Discord because we need to get on top of that.
Just the personal service that you come to expect here at the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
Not to be stalkerish, but I do have your email address.
No, he knows where you live, Ash. He's Google mapped your house over there across the pond.
I'll be flying across the pond here shortly to come meet you and walk you through getting it now. Yeah, I saw your comment because I think you commented yesterday in the stream or 2 days ago in the stream that never happened. And then when I was trying to find the comments, that was one I forgot about. But I will be on the lookout for an email. We'll get you in shape, get you over in the Discord.
That's what makes us one of the more personable gambling podcasts out there in this world. It's just the care that we have for each and every one of you out there. But all right, Cody. Well then, let's send everybody away to start filling out their cards, and so that we can talk to them in the Discord or on the Twitter or wherever else that we find ourselves at the moment.
Agreed, Rod. You can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Make sure you like, subscribe, 5 stars, thumbs up, all the fun stuff. Comment on the YouTube videos even after we're not live anymore. That's always great. Love the interaction over there. Shout out to all you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow for some DFS talk.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link about everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's in between media. Check out the Back Road. Elliot and I will be talking about this very weekend of racing as well tonight, or already if you're listening to this anytime other than on Thursday live. And there's some rugby stuff, some Canadian football stuff, just so much fun stuff putting out on that feed. All right, guys. Love you all. We will see you tomorrow. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.